we have a great story coming out of Connecticut which really showcases a lesson for Democrats. Of course, they'll probably proceed to ignore this, but Democratic Governor Dan Malloy ended up winning re-election, and now that some data's come in, we know one of the reasons why he won, and in part, it's because of his response to the tragedy at Newtown. Of course, at Sandy Hook, there was the slaughter of over 20 innocent people, most of them children. I mean, it was a disgusting chapter in American history. We were all stunned at the time. And Congress failed to get anything done in terms of a response, some gun reform after the fact, but some states took initiative. My state is one of them, New York. We also have Connecticut that did it. And the public loved it. So first of all, this is what he did, quote, banned the sale of gun magazines with a capacity of more than 10 rounds. That, I think, is a very moderate reform, and it makes sense. Required background checks on owners who buy guns through private sales, so not just that, universal background checks as well for the state. That makes perfect sense, too. And expanded the kinds of guns included on the state's assault weapon ban. That one I think is more debatable, but nonetheless, it's a fine regulation for a state to do, and created a $15 million fund to improve school security. That's also a positive. So what happened? Get this. Quote, 4 years ago, Foley, who was his opponent for the governor's office back then and this time, they had a rematch this time, 4 years ago, Foley defeated Malloy by nearly 21 percentage points in Newtown. But this year, Foley only edged out Malloy 51% to 48%. He made up almost 20 points in Newtown. And when they spoke to people from Newtown, they said, well, yes, because he did the right thing with about Sandy Hook. Not only that, the immediate surrounding districts, which also, they're not guaranteed Democratic strongholds, they were this time for Malloy. Why? Because of his gun reform. Democrats take notes. Now understand, it got filibustered by Republicans. It had over 50 votes. The watered-down background check bill that was defeated. It had over 50 votes. Then the Republicans filibustered. Then the Republicans bragged about how they filibustered. And the U.S. collectively facepalmed. Now, why is that so infuriating? It's infuriating not only because the Republicans are assholes and they're funded by the NRA and they're funded by the gun manufacturers and they're doing it because of those guys, so they don't care about safety. They care about their donors who have a financial incentive to act the way they act and tell them to vote the way they do. They make more money the more guns are sold. But also because the Democrats didn't try again, didn't double down, didn't triple down, didn't make an argument. What's the harm in proposing the bill again? Or what I would have done is, well, we already gave away everything to the Republicans. We had an assault weapons ban, a universal background check bill, and a limit on high-capacity magazines. Then, guess what was slapped down? The assault weapons ban. Okay, so at least we still have the universal background check and the limit on high-capacity magazines. Well, guess what was slapped down? The limit on high-capacity magazines. Then we had a universal background check. That was slapped down, and that became a watered-down background check. So we gave away 3-4 times to the Republicans. We compromised, and then they still fucking slapped it down. So you know what I do? I go right back even stronger. I go, oh, really? Is that how you want to play this game? Fine. Then we're not budging off of this bill. Here's the real compromise. The real compromise is a limit on high-capacity magazines and a universal background check. We'll be kind to you and not put in the assault weapons ban. But this bill right here, we're going to propose this bill every day for 3 months. And we're going to make you slap it down every day for 3 months. And if John Boehner doesn't allow a vote on it, fine. We're going to make the biggest stink you've ever seen in American history over this. We're going to go out on the talk shows and we're going to say, have you seen the polls? 90% of the American people want a universal background check bill, and these goddamn fascist Republicans are blocking it. And we're going to do that over and over and over and over and over, and then in the next election, we're going to destroy you. That's how you play politics, and that's how you get what you want. And then eventually, it would work. Now, it may take a while, but it'll work. This is politics FDR style. Politics Lyndon B. Johnson style. This is how you do it. This is how you do it, and this is how you win. And you know what would have happened if you did that? You would have won so many more seats. You would have done so much better in this last election. And the evidence is right here. The evidence is that in different microcosms around the country, this happened. And this isn't the only area where people said we're in favor of gun reform. There were ballot initiatives on universal background checks that passed. Every ballot initiative on guns, doing gun reform, passed in the last election, along with everything minimum wage related in the ballot initiatives. So the American people are screaming for progressive reform. They just need somebody to deliver it. And when they deliver it or try to deliver it, they're going to be rewarded with more votes. So go down that road and you will win, Democrats.